Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Let's make sure we're recording and doors is open and we're ready to rock. So, welcome, everyone. If you're here live or if you're watching on recording, I am so blessed that each and every one of you are here, ready to step into identity. You're not here by accident. You're here for a reason. And that's one of the main things that I always say. You are here, you've been guided here, okay, to this exact moment for a reason. So something in you already knows that this was the next step. This was where you needed to be so that you're ready here to understand yourself at a completely different level. So today could be the beginning of something really, really powerful for you. And whenever we ask ourselves, okay, whenever we ask a really powerful question of who am I truly? What is it that I truly want? What am I here on this planet for? We start to go deeper into all these questions, okay? So one thing I'll ask you to do today, and the only thing that I probably will ask you to do is I would ask you to allow yourself to be open. I allow myself to be here in this moment. So whenever I'm talking about openness, okay, I'm talking about being open to truth. I'm talking about being open to understanding, being open to meeting the next version of you. Now, who is that next version of you? Because that next version of you is just bursting, waiting to get out, waiting to come to the surface. And over the next 2 days, we're going to be looking at the concept of identity. But what is identity, first of all? We're going to be looking at our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, the beliefs that we hold, who we believe ourselves to be, and not just knowing about this material. And this is one thing that I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to really ask you not just to be gathering more information on this call, because we can do that really, really well. We can gather more information. We can read more books. We can have more discussions, but it's the implementation. Okay, this is the understanding and actually applying it into your life on a daily basis. And that's where the shift happens. And that's where the power comes from. Okay, so grab a notebook and a pen and take notes. Or if you want to be present, be completely present and then go back and rewatch and take notes. I rewatch lessons and study material over and over and over again. And that's through repetition, what we'll get into later on today as well. But one thing is be open to meeting that version of you that is at goal achieved. We will look at goals later on through the lesson today. But a lot of people want to stay the same and get different results. They want to still have the same habits and the same beliefs and the same behaviors and get different results. That's pretty much not possible. Okay, because the habits and the beliefs and the behaviors that you have now is partly in what is showing up in your life now. So I want to start in the foundations of it all. And the foundations of it all is the name of this event, and it's called identity. So what is your identity? When I started my journey, we would have talked quite a lot about self-image, self-concept. There was a lot of different words being threw about, okay? And self-image for me, it didn't really sit well because I thought of an image. The moment I says about self-image, I would have thought about the image and would have thought about the physical in myself. Whereas whenever we talk about identity, we can look at the internal structure of who we believe ourselves to be. So that's why I like to go into identity. You will hear me slipping into self-image, you will hear me slipping into self-concept, and that's just coming from a lot of the study that I've done. So the foundation of it all, okay, your identity is that concept that you hold of yourself. And when we sit down and we really ask ourselves, what do I believe me to be? And a lot of the time, we don't even have an answer. Who do I believe myself to be? And even before life got to us, what do I believe about this version of me now? It's how I see myself. And probably up until I started my journey, it wasn't a really good image that I held of myself. Not just physically, but I would have always been the quiet, giving off to myself. Are you silly? Are you stupid? Why did you do that? Why did you make that decision? This is all building up inside us. And this is all building that internal structure. So your internal dialogue, your internal conversations with yourself, repeated constantly, create you to be who you are. Okay? And I'm not going to say that this is so easy and it's so positive. It's a self-reflection, and it can be quite make yourself very vulnerable, very open to changing. And it is a journey, and it is a practice, and it is 48 years of becoming this version of who I am now. I'm not just going to change overnight like that. Yes, I would love just to get an injection, say done, dusted, but it's been that self-aware, the concept that I hold of myself, really sitting down and thinking, right, who am I? Before the world got at me, before the problems, before the adversity showed up, before my name was even given to me, before the beliefs and before all the historical events that happened in my life, before that molded me into who I am now. Who do I believe myself to be when they're all stripped away? And this is where the concept that you have of yourself is everything. This may be revealing for some of you, and it may be uncomfortable for some of you. But when we take a really long, hard look at who we are, it brings so much emotion to the surface. It brings so much emotion to the surface. And I've sat and had quite a lot of emotional experiences throughout this. And there's no blame attached to it. This is just self-awareness. And today we're going to be looking at how your identity is formed, first of all. What and how we can then change it. And then because you will never, ever outperform that identity that you have. You can change it. The great thing about it is that you can change it. But a lot of us is trying to do all the work on the outside, trying to work harder, trying to shift things, trying to force and to push and to grind to change the inside. And work harder, work harder, work harder. It's not about that. It's going internally, changing the internal, and that internal structure that your identity is part of. And once you change that, then everything externally from you changes then. So we're going within today, okay? We're going really within, and we're going to have some questions. We're going to have some understandings. We're going to have a little bit of homework. But I promise you, today could be the day that you change your life for the rest of your life. It was on one of these calls that completely shifted my belief. And I continue to show up for these. I continue to then bring them to each and every one of you, because I know how powerful this material is when you apply it into your life. So take away from today is that you're not just gathering more information. We're not at school. We're not learning something to repeat it, then to get marked on it. We're learning something to understand it, to embody it, and then to live our life by it. And when you start to live your life by it, you start to experience different results, and then your 3D reality starts to change. So we don't go without and try and change it. We go within and we change in here, and everything else then changes for us. You with me? Okay. So every single result in our life now, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, doesn't matter what it is, it's a direct reflection. Whether it is direct reflection of what's going on in here, whether it is the amount of money that you have, whether it is the amount of money that you earn, the amount of money that you circulate, the relationships as well, whether it's friendships, partnerships, work colleagues, whether it is your health, another amazing awareness, whether it is your health, the opportunities that you accept, the opportunities that you reject, they are all a direct reflection of the identity that you hold of yourself. Now, we may say that we want something. We may say that we have this goal written out. We have desired this lifestyle that we really, really want to live. But your identity is always going to bring you back to where you are leveled out. All right. Now, when we start off this journey, we have that concept of who we are. We ask ourselves these questions, and the questions are so important. Really, really so important. I ask myself questions every single day because we don't get what we want. We don't get what we want in life. We get who we are. And that was a really hard pill for me to swallow, because whenever I started my journey in personal development, I had just lost a business. I'd lost a business that I absolutely loved and I adored. I went bankrupt. Energetically, my relationships were going in the opposite direction. We were drifting completely apart. And I was to believe that it was down to my identity. And when someone told me that, I was going, how dare you? How dare you? But yes, now I look back and I join all those dots together. And every single one of the events happening in my life was necessary for me to be here, to bring me to this point. But the identity that I held of myself then, it wasn't a great picture. So if I could paint the picture now, it wasn't a great picture that I held. I didn't have the belief in myself. I believed myself to be lacking in confidence, to be shy, to be less than, to be less worthy than other people. Even whenever I was winning awards and having a really beautiful award-winning restaurant, in those awards I felt less than. I felt that I shouldn't be there. I was an imposter. Why? Because I didn't have the qualifications that someone else had. So again, it was all down to my identity. So your identity is a filter that you experience your life through. It's a vibration that you live from. It's a story that you rehearse over and over and over again. So it's the energy that you're emitting from yourself. So if you're rehearsing this story over and over and over again, and you're emitting that frequency from you, but for me, I had absolutely no awareness of this. It was only through my awareness that then I could change the self-reflection that I had of myself. Not out of blame or not out of judgment. I never criticized myself once. I never blamed myself once. I may have blamed other people. I may have criticized other people, but I'd never put it upon myself because I was really at such a low energy and a low breaking point at the time when I started my journey. But the great thing about it is now that I've transformed my life completely. Now to help each and every one of you shift and achieve the lifestyle that you want without having to go through the steps that I had to. So if I wanted to change my outer results, I wasn't happy with the outer results that I had. I didn't start with the outside. I started with the inside. And this is where I want to bring each and every one of you today. We start with who we are being. Who are we being? And then we go into the core of that being. You have the internal structure, okay? If you just imagine, it's like a scaffold inside us, okay? So that internal structure, that is part of your paradigm. And that paradigm is running the show. It's running the show on default. And some people think this is just the way life is. Life is just, this is the deal that I have been drawn. This is the hand that I have been dealt. No, it's not. Most definitely not. And I thought whatever is meant to be is going to be. Whatever in life is meant, my path, my journey, let's just kind of follow it. I didn't think that I had control over it. So what we do is we reprogram and we decide what it is that we want. We decide the life that we want. We decide, we update that software all the time. So for any of you that's got a tablet, a laptop, a telephone, what happens every 2 to 3 months? You get a software update. You update all your technology. And this is what we are doing here with this amazing physical body. We're updating the software. And we're updating it to who we've always meant to be. We're taking out the virus codes. And what is the virus codes? The virus codes is beliefs that we have inherited. It is habits that don't serve us. It is other people's opinions. A great one that I shifted. And it's all that data that's building up inside us of you hear the other people's voices, you hear other people's opinions, you take on other people's ideas that are yours then. The minute that you accept someone else's belief, they become yours. And that's not what we want. So when you shift how you see yourself, the moment that you shift how you see yourself, you shift everything that flows from you. So if you're seeing abundance and happiness and joy and love, you're emitting that from you. So that's all going to flow from you. And then what flows from you, a vibrational state, one of the laws, the universal laws. We talk about the law of attraction, but we don't really talk about the first law. Law of attraction would tend to be a secondary law. The first law would be the law of vibration, what you're emitting from yourself, the vibrational state that you're on. And in that vibrational state that you're on, you're pushing that out into the field, the universe, whatever you may believe yourself, but you're pushing that out. That ignites the law of attraction and you attract like for like. So if you're in a low vibration of scarcity, of lack, of limitation, of poor me, of victim mentality, and you're pushing that out, of sickness, of no one loves me, of lack of finances, that's what you're putting out. You're going to attract that back to you. Okay? So we start with internally. We shift everything. So everything that flows from us, whether it's in abundance, whether it is love, we start to love ourselves first. And from you, okay, from what you're putting out, not blame, not judgment, you are going to just attract that back to you. So what we put out comes right back. The vibration we put it out on, and a really high vibration. And I'm not talking about just faking it. What I'm talking about here is that you are very aware of the underlying feeling. You know, you can say something, you can write it out 1,000,000 times, but it doesn't feel. You don't feel into it. So if sitting down, and as I get all my clients to do, is practice gratitude every day. And the way we practice gratitude, it's not about writing it out 1,000,000 times. It's not about just like ticking a box. That's all very mechanical. I would say one gratitude, express with deep feeling until you feel it tingling in your physical body, is more powerful than writing it out 1,000 times. Okay? So you feel into it. And this is where the feeling causes a vibration. The vibration ignites the law of attraction and brings it back. Okay? So we're going to look at where your identity is, first of all. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper. So your mind, and this is what we're here for. This is what we're doing. We live in 3 different levels. We are a spiritual being, having this amazing physical experience in this 3D world, in this physical body. But we also have an intellect, our mindset. And we are working on our mindset and where that mind is set. So when we talk about the mind, 9 times out of 10, what we're going to do, we're going to think of our mind and we go straight to the picture of our brain. Okay? That's what I would have done because we think in pictures. So there's a great diagram, stick person. And that diagram dictates that we have, if you can imagine just a little stick person that you would have drawn at school. Okay? A little circle, 2 circles. And then the top circle is the mind and split in half. We have the conscious mind and then we have the subconscious mind. Now, our mind is so marvelous, okay? It doesn't have to, the beliefs and the behaviors that we hold in the subconscious mind just happen automatically, okay? It just happens automatically. And we think, when the moment that we think on a conscious mind, it would be from our senses. So your senses are attached to your conscious mind, of who you consciously are aware of being. Now, your identity doesn't live in your conscious mind. Your identity is stored in your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is your thinking mind. You can accept or reject ideas, and so many of us don't even have that realization that we can accept and we can reject ideas. It's where your imagination is. It's where your reasoning faculty is. It's where your willpower lives. All your higher faculties, every single one of them. So your subconscious mind, with that being a thinking mind, it's your thinking, your choice making mind. And as I said, it can accept or reject anything. It's like the gatekeeper, okay? That gatekeeper into your subconscious. Now, your subconscious is where everything is automatic. That's where everything is natural. This is where your awareness, your logic, as I said, your willpower, but it's also where doubt, where fear, where comparison, all that creeps in if we are not really aware. So you can say things like, I choose what I think. I can reject ideas that don't serve my vision. But the challenging thing about this is that most people don't. They live just in reaction instead of decision. Now, whenever I say that you can choose, and it takes practice, And if you're thinking thoughts and having conversations and just on default that I will do this when that shows up, when the kids get out of school, I will make a decision then. What you're doing is you're pushing things back, okay? You're procrastinating. You're not taking steps, you're not taking action, okay? You're choosing. You can choose to stay exactly the way you are, or you can choose to take a step forward. It's still a choice, okay? You can accept ideas that is going to serve you. You can then accept ideas that's not going to serve you. And to change a habit or even a belief, it's just an idea that's held in your mind. That is all it is. So the ideas that don't serve you and don't serve your vision. When we talk about goal achieved, we talk about 12 months from now, 6 months, 3 months. I like to bring my goals onto 3 months because it gives me such a push. Okay, sometimes like I'm in the middle of a manifestation at the moment that I had in my mind that was going to happen in 2026, in the middle of 2026, and it is happening now without me even really pushing or forcing. So when we set that date, okay, of the goal that we want to achieve, I talk about it now in the present. I'm so happy and grateful now that. And what that does, that draws it quicker to you, because your goal is looking for you as much as you are looking for your goal. But again, does your identity match that goal? So when we ask ourselves, what am I habitually thinking about? Who or what am I allowing to occupy this mental space that I have? Because what you're habitually thinking about is you're recreating it in your life over and over and over and over again. Like what conversations? What conversations am I having? Not just internally, but what conversations am I having with other people around me? Am I asking other people that maybe have no desire to live the goal that I want to live? Am I asking them for advice? Am I taking opinions from someone else that doesn't have the desires that I have? Because whatever you think about repetitively, and you're adding emotion to it, what you're doing is you're giving a command to your subconscious mind. So your conscious mind, if you can imagine, your subconscious mind is a beautiful garden, okay? It is a beautiful garden. Whatever seeds that you plant there, whatever you plant, whether it is lack, whether it's limitation, whether it is happiness, whether it is joy, whether it is fear, whether it is faith, whether it is that you can't or you can, it's going to grow. It is always going to grow. So your subconscious mind is your emotional mind. It doesn't reason. It simply accepts whatever is repeated. Simply just accepts. So if you're continually telling yourself that you're ill, that you're sick, that you can't do, that you can't have, that there's a lack of finances, that you have to wait, of course that is just going to be repeated back to you. So everything that you've believed about yourself, everything that you've heard about yourself, everything that you have felt, everything that you've repeated over time, that has been impressed upon your subconscious mind. And that's where your identity lives. So, whatever age you are, let's go back. Okay, your subconscious mind is completely open. We'll not go too deep into the mind today, but your subconscious mind is completely open until maybe the ages of 8 to 9. Okay, that's when you have the ability to start thinking for yourself. So up until that age, Everything has been filtered in. You just accept it. Accept is done. Whether it is through the cartoons that you were watching as a child, what the teachers have been saying to you. Some days they may not have had a good day. Some days they could have said, you have no idea where that identity has been formed. It has been formed from external circumstances. So whatever you consistently think and whatever you consistently feel is going to grow. So if you believe yourself that you are not able to, I had an amazing client that was told that she was dyslexic as a child, and she shifted that belief in herself. I had another wonderful client that healed herself and cured herself of cancer. I have so many different clients and so many testimonials of this material and different beliefs and health and identity they held of themselves the moment that you shift that identity. And yes, it's a practice, and I will say that's a practice. There's no quick fix here. If you're here looking for a quick fix of just give it to me and then I'll do it, that's not what this journey is about. It's a journey, and it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful journey. There's no quick fixes in this material at all. It's in your awareness and how quick that you can accept an idea. And some people would say to me, how long did it take you? How long does it take you to accept an idea and shift your awareness? Some people may say they're studying this material years. That doesn't impress me at all, because show me the results that you have. And for me, it's how quick can you accept an idea that you can shift this identity, you can embody the material. So if you've been studying this material and you have, say, been in it for more than about 5 years and you haven't embodied it, and you've been searching different videos and online and reading the books, okay, you haven't embodied the material. So it's the embodiment that shifts your identity. And that's where most people stay stuck. Most people live their life entirely through just their 5 senses. They live their life based on what the bank balance says, what they can see, what they can hear, what they can taste and touch, even what they can smell. They live from the outside in. And this was such a big shift for me, and shifting all that because I lived by what my finances said. I made decisions based on what was in that bank balance. I made decisions based on what I heard. I asked everyone for their opinion. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Do you think it's a good idea? So I was living my life from my senses. I was living from external. And I was wondering, nothing's changing. I was letting my physical world control how I felt inside. Now, I don't do that anymore. I don't look at the bank balance before I decide how abundant I'm going to be allowed to feel. I make a decision of what I want, I open up the space for it, and then I draw it in. See the difference? I don't look at the circumstances anymore. I don't allow the circumstances to decide what is possible for me. And I mean, there's so many things that in reality, okay, in the 3D world, living from the outside, it should not have been possible for me to do and achieve some of the things that I have achieved. It just seemed so logical. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to get out of the logical. I want you to get completely out of the logical and not living from your conscious senses. Not from your conscious senses anymore. But your true power begins whenever you start living from the inside out. And it may be so uncomfortable. And I mean so uncomfortable, because this is something that you've never done before. Like, you're a spiritual being having this physical experience. And you have the ability to think. You have the ability to imagine. You have the ability to feel on purpose. So, where is your mind set at the moment? Is that mind, that wonderful, amazing mind that you have, set on lack, set on limitation? Or is it set for growth? Is it set for joy, expansion? And even as I say that, my whole body tingles, because I am just so in love with life now. Your subconscious is the bridge between spirit and form. It's a bridge between thought and reality. So if you can think it, okay, and this is what one of my mentors always said to me, if you can think it and hold that picture in the forefront of your mind, you must see it in the palm of your hand. It must move into physical form. Because everything that you impress upon your subconscious mind through emotion becomes a vibration your body lives in. And that vibration that your body lives in, it attracts, it ignites that attract. Okay, that law of attraction. It's not just thinking, oh, this is what I want, but then feeling completely different. It's an underlying feeling in that vibration. Saying it is not enough. Writing it out is not enough. It's the feeling, the underlying feeling that attracts the experiences that match it. So your identity, the self that you believe yourself to be, is simply the sum of all that emotional pattern. And it's been repeated until it became automatic. So when we strip it back to when I asked you, who do you believe yourself to be? And I mean, be open and be raw and be vulnerable and put it all onto a piece of paper. I will not ask you to share here, okay? But put it all down. It is just the sum of all those emotional patterns through your parents, through your caregivers, through your teachers, through the people that's been in our environment as we have been growing up. And it's just been repeated. And how many times have you said something about yourself that you don't even believe is true? I've always been told that I was the youngest, I was the quietest, I was the shyest. And I repeated that until I started my journey. I've always been quiet. I've always been shy. I could never communicate. I'd lost my voice completely because I had repeated this automatically. And I truly believed it until I sat down and I wrote out, who do I believe myself to be? My voice matters. My voice matters. I am here for a purpose. And then I had to remember then that my identity is not fixed. It's a program. It's a software program that I had to update. So today we're starting to rewrite. We're rewriting your program. I update mine all the time. So you're the author now. No one else is the author. Up until this point, maybe someone else was, but you're the author now. So who do you believe yourself to be? Let's make it really personal. Who do you believe yourself to be? What do you think of you? How do you see yourself? And sometimes as I went through these questions, the tears were flowing from my eyes. Now I get excited because I know that I'm updating myself. I'm up leveling, I'm shifting my awareness. Because every single result in my life is a reflection of that internal image. So if I want to shift that internal image, if I want to shift the results in my life, I have to shift the internal image. Now, the identity that I have now, okay, it's not who I was a year ago. It's not even who I was 6 months ago. It's not who I was 5, 10 years ago. And then the identity that I am going to have in a year's time is not who is sitting here now and not who believes in myself now. I am always going to update because I am always growing. I'm always hungry. Okay, I'm humble, so humble for everything that I have achieved to this point. And just as I said that, my tummy rumbled. But I am so humble for everything, but I'm so hungry for more. And this is my purpose in life, to bring this material to each and every one of you. And if I can do it, oh my goodness, anybody can do it. But the first step in this work is self-awareness. You can't change what you're unaware of. But once you see it, you can shift it like that. There's no deep, massive, deep work. It's just becoming aware. So if your results reflect how you see yourself, okay? If your results now, and I would even take a few moments now to write down, my results reflect how I see myself. If I want to change the result, I must change the image. That's what we're doing here. Every single one of us. That's why we're here. That's what's happening. So changing the image that has been running your results. This isn't about judgment. It isn't about blame, and it most definitely isn't about criticism. The world does that enough for us. You're not broken. My goodness, I thought I was broken so many times, but I had a beautiful reminder recently that I can bend. I'm very bent. So you're not broken. You've just been identifying with the version of you that no longer matches where you're going. And that's the most beautiful thing about it. And that's okay, because today awareness begins. Your awareness begins, because a few months ago I felt called to check in with myself. As I say, I do it all the time, to see what parts of my identity still need to evolve. So I opened up my notebook, as I do. I have got stacks of notebooks. Love my notebooks. So I opened up my notebook and I just simply wrote, Melanie is a woman who. And I started writing. I didn't filter it. I just let it completely flow. And when I'm talking about journaling, this is what I'm talking about. I didn't try to separate the future me and the current me. I didn't think about what I'm putting down here is going to come into. I just let it flow from me. So at first, beautiful truths came out. I am driven. I'm powerful. I'm motivated. I'm persistent. I never stop in the attainment of my goal. But then, what happened? Something else came up. Melanie is a woman that finds the more success that she achieves, the more people turn their back on her. So amazing. And then I stopped, because that belief wasn't something that I consciously held. I didn't consciously hold that. But there it was, sitting really quietly in my subconscious mind. And I was like, wow. So I asked myself, does this serve me? Do I want to keep that story alive? No, most definitely not. But now that I could see it, now that it came to the surface just through flowing, that journaling is flowing out, I could shift it. I could shift it in a millisecond. That, my friends, is identity work. No judgment, just observation. Because once that you can see it, you can choose differently. And everything, it's like, as I say, it's like having a glass with some grit or sand, some dirty water in it, okay? And you're pouring this beautiful clear water into it, all right? And in the bottom, it's all kind of muddy and mucky. And this is what it is. This is where the subconscious, all those beliefs and all those, that data, the virus codes that doesn't serve you, is floating about. So you're pouring more water into it, and you're pouring more beautiful crystal clear water into it. What's going to happen at a stage? That's going to come to the surface. And when it comes to the surface, you can just wipe it off. And that's exactly what happened. As I journaled, it all came to the surface. No judgment, no criticizing, no blame, no feeling sorry for myself. Just going, oh, that was interesting. So what I do, I just observed. I observed and I chose differently. So many people say I want success so badly. But then they say I haven't achieved it. So this is where the identity work comes in. I want it so badly. I want it, I need it. And this is where the awareness is really key. So when I'm talking about the awareness, it's not just having that concept of yourself, looking at the identity that you have, understanding the non-productives, letting them rise, removing them. But whenever you're sitting saying, well, I haven't achieved it yet. It hasn't showed up for me yet. I've done this so many times. I have invested in myself, I've invested time, I've invested finances, and the I haven't achieved my success. That's one thing I always say. Haven't? Really? You haven't grown? You haven't changed? You haven't learned something new about yourself? Because that's all achievement. So many of us don't even look at that achievement. They don't look at the abundance around us. Because you're already becoming that person. As I say, it's a practice. There's a practice to it. So you're already becoming that person who can hold that vision. That physical result is simply just catching up to the identity now that you're forming. And the identity that you're forming. And as I say, it's not just about writing it out a million times. It's about doing the embodiment. It's about doing the internal work. So the real achievement is the identity shift. The outer result is just a reflection, and it must move into form. So now whenever I say, Melanie is a woman who, what I'm really doing is I'm giving a language to the identity that exists in my intellectual mind. I use my name because it connects me to this human body. Someone else gave me my name, but I use that name then just to know that it's my humanness. Like, I know that I'm not Melanie. That's a label for me on earth. I'm expressing through this physical body. My true spirituality, my true divine self, has no opinions, has no labels. It doesn't believe things are good or bad, right or wrong. It just simply is. But the identity that lives in the intellect, that identity that I hold of myself, that's the part that we're refining here today. That's the software that we're updating, that we're rewiring. This is about learning how to be spiritual beings in this physical body. To live consciously in this 3D world that we're here. And we can have so many beautiful experiences while we're here. And when you realize what we're part of, and we're sitting here worrying about something really simple and silly, in the bigger understanding of it, we can do anything that we achieve, that we want to achieve, sorry. Like, you want to help others do the same. That's my main passion. I want to change lives. I want to uplift people. I want to help them expand their consciousness. But to change the world, I had to change myself first. So for you to change your life, for you to change your results, and for you to change what is showing up in your 3D reality, you must first change yourself. Change your identity first. If you're looking for love, be love. Love yourself first. So if you're looking for wealth and finances, change your wealth consciousness first. So we don't wait till something shows up before we do it. We decide in the moment. We energetically open the space for it to come to us. So that's why even now for ourselves, we ask ourselves these questions. Who am I? Who am I? Without labels, without titles, without relationship status, without even your name. Who are you? How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself today? And then what identity am I currently holding? Put it all down, write it all down, get it out of the physical body, put it on paper. Let it be honest, let it be raw, let it be unfiltered. This is for you. No one else has any need to see it. And when you do this, you're going to see both the parts that empower you, but then you're also going to see the parts that limit you. Celebrate what's beautiful. Celebrate those qualities that, oh my goodness, that don't need rewiring. Celebrate the power, celebrate the happiness, the joy, celebrate the kindness. Okay? They don't need rewiring. They're all already true. You don't have to affirm something you already are. But because what you believe to be true will always be your truth. So you're celebrating those. But for anything that no longer serves you, this is your opportunity to create a new truth. And that's the most amazing part about it. Your beliefs create the truth. And your truth becomes your reality. So, what beliefs are we holding? What beliefs are we holding in this moment? So if your physical world is showing something different than what it is that you desire, it's not wrong. It's not wrong at all. It's a mirror. It's just reflecting what your subconscious still believes to be true. So our moment today has been created from a few months ago. So it just takes a wee bit for reality to catch up with our thought process. So if we start now and we talk about the law of gestation, it takes a little time for the seed to be planted and for the seed to grow and for your goal to come into the physical. But the moment that you see it, you can change it. So the moment that you can see that gap, that you can change it. So the framework of transformation for anyone in the masculine, okay, in the being, in the doing. So the framework of transformation is self-awareness. Some of us like to have the strategies, the processes to follow. So self-awareness. See your current identity clearly. No judgment, just truth. No judgment whatsoever. And then we go into creation. Decide who you're becoming. Create new truths. New truths that align with your desire. And we'll be going into desires shortly as well. Let's see. Well, we'll probably go into desires tomorrow, but didn't realize the time. And then we go into embodiment. So whenever you go into the desires, it's what it is that you want. And then we're embodying, we're living as that version now. We're thinking, we're feeling, we're acting from that version daily until it becomes your natural state. That's how we move from information into embodiment. We've got enough information, okay? We've got enough information. We're going to embody, we're going to become. And that's how you collapse the time from where you are to where you want to be. So when we look even at a goal, we'll touch slightly on our goal today, but still a few moments. Like, a true goal isn't logical, okay? It's a desire that stirs something inside you. That's one thing that won't leave you alone. So what's the one thing that's been resurfacing with you? Whether it is joy, health, finances, new job, whatever it is. It's that desire, and it'll always come back. Okay? And it's okay if you don't know. I didn't know. Oh my goodness, I didn't know when I was in my journey what my goal was. Because my goal was very focused on where my programming was at that time. And as I went through my journey, I must actually bring out my gold card someday. I've got these beautiful gold cards. It's all in a little box. And every one was ticked off after 6 weeks, after 3 months, after 6 months, and then just continually. And the one that I'm in the middle of now, it's time to update my next goal. So desire is spirit seeking expression through you. So ask yourself, what is that desire that's been calling me? What is the next level of me that feels maybe slightly uncomfortable, but so exciting? Write it down. Be really clear. I have my clients, they go through. They could tell me their goal and I could literally see it in so much detail. So you be really specific. Let it feel alive. And then ask, who do I need to become? Who do I need to become for this to be my normal? Who am I? What would I think? What would I feel? And what would I do if I were already living that life? How would my day look like? Because you don't get what you want. And that's one thing, and I will repeat it constantly. You get who you are. Your goal isn't outside of you. Your goal is something waiting to be expressed through you. Your goal is the mirror. And it is a mirror of the identity in motion. So that identity that you have is reflecting externally. So today we've looked at what your identity is. We've looked at where your identity lives inside, how it's formed, and how your concept of yourself has created the results you're currently living in your life now in this moment. We've opened the door of awareness, and I don't want this just to be an activation. Okay, I want this to be a transformation for each and every one of you. So this is the first steps, the very first steps of transformation. So today, spend some time, write, reflect, re-watch this. The recording will be up within the hour in the Facebook group, and it'll be sent out to everyone on email as well. So I want you to really reflect on this. I want you to write out. I want you to notice. This isn't about fixing yourself. Whatever we are doing here, this is not about fixing yourself. It's about seeing yourself clearly and then choosing again. There's nothing to fix at all. So tomorrow we're going to go deeper. We're going to be going deeper into creating the new identity. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to take what is surfaced today, and then we're going to begin building that self-image or identity. There you go. Told you to go back into self-image. So what identity aligns perfectly with your vision? Remember, you're the thinker. You've got the choice. You're the one that's control. You're the feeler. You're feeling your emotions. You're the creator. Okay, we're co-creating this amazing experience that we're having in life at the moment. Because everything that you desire already exists within you. It's just waiting for you. It is waiting for you to remember who you are. So thank you for joining me today on day one. And I will see you tomorrow at the same time. So do a little bit of work on yourself tonight. Okay? Ask yourself the questions. Answer the questions openly and honestly. And then we'll move into the next step tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take care.